The human skull. It's only about 1/8 of an inch thick. That's all the protection nature supplies for the precious human brain. And that's why wearing a helmet like this is so important if you're going to be doing something potentially dangerous, like riding a motorcycle. Of course, some helmets are better than others. All of these on this wall here at USC's Head Protection Laboratory do have one thing in common. They are all from fatal accidents. Rigs like this duplicate the forces involved in different kinds of accidents, and each test is monitored electronically. The data is passed on to manufacturers so they can improve their products. They call this the edge. It recreates the blow a rider's head would receive if he flew off his bike and hit the edge of a curb. A shattering, killing blow without the protection of a helmet. The shell is damaged. The liner is crushed, but the head is protected. If a helmet can withstand something like this, it's good enough to save a life. For years, competitive drivers have staked their lives on their safety equipment. A violent, twisting crash like this would be fatal without helmets, roll bars, and seat belts. The proof of their value is the driver's survival. To get detailed information about saving lives, the safety engineers at the Transportation Research Center in East Liberty, Ohio, use specially designed crash dummies. Each is equipped with electronic sensors for monitoring the effects of an accident on the human body. Because dummies can be assembled from a variety of parts, it's possible to simulate people of different sizes and ages. Each component must be sturdy enough to withstand rigorous testing. To be sure a dummy's electronic equipment will accurately record the force of a collision, the researchers tested with a controlled impact. Preparing the dummies is only the first step. The crash cars must also be elaborately prepared. A collision takes only a fraction of a second, but this instrumentation will record an immense amount of data in that moment. The dummies have jointed metal skeletons, and their weight is distributed much as if they were made of flesh and blood. Their position and posture can be made to duplicate real people. During the impact of a crash, they will move just as live subjects would. Masks assure a record of the facial cuts caused by the impact. Slow-motion cameras will help analyze the nearly instant but complex event about to occur. This car will be the target, and this one will be hurtled into it by a high-speed cable.
I got changed back to 804.
As the countdown approaches, everything is controlled with the precision and thoroughness associated with a space launch.
Okay, Paul.
This is a 56-mile-an-hour test. We're ready to run. Dean, are you clear? This is a run.
Tests like this make it clear that what seems to be one crash is really two. The second collision happens when the driver or the passenger hits some object inside the car, like the steering wheel or the windshield. This second collision is the one that kills. Without seatbelts, riders are helpless victims of the second collision. Can be fatal, even at 21 miles an hour. With seatbelts, the second collision doesn't happen. The riders are spared lacerating injuries or death. One test reveals how an unbelted passenger can cost 2 lives. Even in a parked car, children without seatbelts are tragically vulnerable. Small children should be protected with special safety seats. Failing that, though, adult-sized belts can make a vital difference. No matter how well made, no crash dummy acts exactly like a human volunteer. That's why these German tests were particularly valuable to scientists studying whiplash. Another series of tests produced even more dramatic results. Researchers wanted to prove the effectiveness of seatbelts under actual conditions. The only safety equipment used in any of these tests was the one routinely installed in almost all cars: seatbelts. The evidence provided by these tests is conclusive. Seatbelts save lives. All you have to do is use them.
can occur anywhere, anytime, in an immense variety of ways.
Accidents on the highway are the greatest cause of violent death and injury in America, claiming a staggering 43,000 lives last year. Only in the last few decades have we begun to investigate this carnival of mayhem. Since 1900, the U.S. death toll has far exceeded battle casualties in war. To find out how and why this happens means we're found to simulate and photograph fatal accidents as they happen. Instances of terrifying chaos were minutely recorded, dissected, and analyzed. If there had been any doubt, the automobile was proven tragically unsafe. Doors flew open, throwing unrestrained occupants to their death. And the impact of a 50-mile-per-hour collision is equivalent to a fall from a 15-story building. Tests continued and designs improved. Today's safest cars absorb some shock on impact, and doors remain closed, even in drastic rollovers. The science of simulating the human body has advanced dramatically. Sophisticated mannequins now in use mimic the body's reactions under stress with chilling realism. In a crash, the car stops, but the occupants do not. The most terrible collision occurs inside the car, even at moderate speeds. Now mandatory, lap and shoulder belts afford great protection, but over 80% of adults do not bother to use them. Even fewer use belts and special seats to safeguard their children. The search for automatic crash restraint has led to the inflatable airbag. In head-on collisions, the most frequent fatal accident, airbags can save many lives, but they're costly and don't help in other kinds of accidents. In the future, a combination of bags and belts may prove ideal. For now, it takes only 5 seconds to buckle a belt and increase your chances to continue living by at least 50%. Believe it?